Wow, that's the fastest anyone's ever jumped on one of these. All right, get ready with me for these new episodes. Let's do it. Welcome, friends. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here. Although I wish we were gathering for a different occasion. I really do. Okay, I don't know what to do with this. I need like a table, you know? I need a little table. Okay, well, I don't trust myself. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Right. Let's do this. Let's do it. No. Oh, hello, friends. Hi. Hello. Look at us. Look at us. Back here again. Gosh, I thought I got foundation all over everything. We're back here again to discuss things, that shouldn't be happening. Now, let me just start off by saying that this is not the tell-all. This is not it. This is the show before the show. This is the pre-show, if you will. Pre-show. So no spoilers here, friends. No spoilers. Stay tuned. But I am getting ready with all of you for this episode. And fun fact, there are 2 episodes that I will be filming tonight. And if my body allows me to be awake, then I will get these edited for you tonight. If my body falls asleep, then we will get them out tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, I know, I just saw that. The new national director from Mexico. Love you too. Okay. Whew. Y'all, I had to run to get, I'm exhausted. I got delayed on a flight, and I haven't slept. I need help. I need a team is what I need, and the team is not in the budget yet. One day. I'm proud of Noelia too. What she did, whew, not easy. Let's see here. I'm getting nonstop emails and messages, by the way, as you might assume. Let me see. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I know. I literally woke up this morning. Like I said, I got delayed on a flight last night. And then for some reason, there were no available Ubers, and some kind soul literally allowed me to get in her car, in her Lyft, and travel with her, and then I just Venmo'd her. How kind was that? Like, literally so kind. I don't know how much longer it would have taken me to get back. Got to bed at almost 2, so exhausted. Oh my gosh, Miss USA blocked you. I'm sure a lot more people are going to be blocked. I'm honestly shocked that I haven't been reblocked, to be quite honest. But there's still time. There's still time. But anyways, yeah, I got in really late last night after an insane weekend at the Derby. If you ever get to do that in your lifetime, do it. It was totally worth it. Crazy enough, I was with Noelia there. And, so, I mean, who would have thought that would have been her last appearance? I can't believe that I was with Miss USA at her last appearance. Wild. So because of that, I have extra little tidbits that I can share. Because unfortunately, many are under an NDA and they can't speak out. But I'm not under one. And I can share my firsthand experience, which I will be doing very shortly. Very shortly. Just wait for it. Just wait for it, friends. It's coming. It is coming. Did she mention anything to you? Well, I mean, lots of conversations were had, but I mean, there's some stuff I can't disclose out of confidence. Like there's a lot of things that, and I'm not talking Noelia in this sense, but there's just like a lot of things that people share with me confidentially all the time that I will never mention on the channel out of respect for them, because I never want them to have issues with their NDAs. So, and by the way, I'm not even just talking like the Miss USA or Miss Universe organization. I'm talking just all organizations. I mean, the messages I get, the lawsuits that are out there that no one knows about, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. You'd be shocked. Like, you'd be absolutely shocked. But I will say, you know, it's not, I also don't feel like it's always, you know, necessary to talk about every single scandal, because those are the exceptions in pageantry. Like, thank God, you know, these types of stories are the exceptions. Just think about it. Noelia is the 72nd Miss USA, right? And the Miss USA organization and Miss Universe organizations have gone through a lot of controversies, right, in their history. And she's one of 72. And honestly, that's a pretty good track record then, right? If you really look at it. Now, of course, it's not great that she, oh, shoot. You know when you like break out and then, look what I just literally accidentally cut myself. Let me see. Ugh. Gosh. I was trying to like smooth out my makeup and I literally just accidentally nicked myself with my nail. Oh, I have to wait. Oh my gosh, you just mentioned MAO with Robin. I can't even keep up at this point with all of these things. This is like, that's literally crazy. Wait, what's going on with Miss Brazil? 11 state directors resigned with the new national director? People are saying Miss Oregon pageant was rigged. Okay, let me just say, I don't feel like the Oregon pageant was rigged, just because and you can say that this is bias, and that's totally fine. We all have a bias, but I was a Pageants Northwest title holder, and after serving as a title holder, I volunteered at various state pageants, meaning that I was there with access to judges, and Oregon is directed, okay, Pacific Northwest, David and Maureen, and those two hold themselves to such a high standard of integrity, in my personal opinion, from everything that I've seen, and I have been in the background of multiple state pageants. And don't think for one second that I don't keep my eyes and ears open in every single pageant, okay? The reason that I do that is because if I see anything that strikes me as odd or strange, well, you know, I'll make an episode about it, you know, I'll talk about it. But the other big reason for me is that out of my conscience, I can't, you know, see something behind the scenes that's like wrong or unfair. And then when girls ask, oh, should I go compete for XYZ pageant? I cannot in my heart recommend them a pageant where, you know, I saw something that just didn't look fair. But I love the directors, David and Maureen of Pageants Northwest. And I would never ever imagine that they would ever rig a pageant. There's no invested interest there for them. There is literally no reason for them to rig a pageant. And when you look at the winner of Oregon, she doesn't need any help getting a pageant rigged for her. Has everybody done their homework and understand and know who she is? I've known Shayla since she was about 12 years old. And Shayla is outstanding. Outstanding. Let me give you a little history. So Shayla won the preteen title for Oregon at National American Miss when she was growing up. So she wins that, and then, gosh, my poor face, what have I done? So she wins that. Then she goes on to win the national title for National American Miss. And let me tell you, this young woman was outstanding. I'll never forget the first time that I had an interaction with her. I was working at, I believe, the Georgia State pageant, and Shayla was visiting royalty. Keep in mind, she's 12 years old at this point. She ends up sitting next to me at the check-in table. And so I'm watching this little girl, 12 years old, welcome people into pageant check-in registration, biggest smile on her face, sweetest girl, but also in a good way mature for her age. Not like she's trying to be an adult, but just really carried herself so well. And then I'm sitting there with her, and she's just like, you know, she's bragging and going on and on about like her dad, like how much she loves her dad. And she's telling me, I'll never forget this, she was telling me, oh man, I'm just so sad my dad can't make it to this pageant. Now granted, if she was competing, believe me, her dad would have been there. But she was visiting royalty, but she was telling me how much she loves her dad. And then as she's looking at me and talking to me, the cutest, best thing happened, and I wish I could have filmed it. Her dad is walking up behind her at the perfect moment. I want to cry thinking about it. And he looks at me, and I catch his eye really quickly, and he goes, this. He comes up behind Shayla, like covers her eyes, and she's so confused. She's so startled. She's like, you know, very surprised. And then he says something like, guess who? And obviously she knows his voice. And she turns around, she kind of lets out this little scream and like jumps up. I mean, to have that type of relationship with a parent, especially like a father-daughter relationship, is so beautiful. And then getting to be around Shayla that weekend and meet her parents and see just how, you know, dedicated they are to her and how invested they are in her success. So at that point I told them, I said, Shayla should be doing USA. And they said, well, or Teen USA. And they were like, well, I don't know. We're not big on the swimsuit idea for, you know, being under 18. And I said, I totally understand. But then the moment that they got rid of swimsuit, they were like, you know what? We're going to give it a shot. Shayla competed twice. She won on her second time. Okay. When she won that Oregon Teen USA title, I was like, I think Shayla's going to win this year. Shayla did really well throughout the competition. Remember, she placed first runner-up for Teen USA. I really believe she had the shot at that chance, but when she got up there for her onstage question in the top 5, when they asked this question, I can't remember it, but it was set up perfectly. She could have referenced her advocacy, and she didn't take the opportunity to do it. And I felt in the moment that it had to do with nerves. And you know what? Also our destiny, right? It wasn't meant to be. But Shayla did an incredible job placing first runner up, right? My whole point of all of this though, okay, is that that is an experience. Oh, I forgot. She also had she also went back to NAM and had a teen title or something. Yeah, teen title. And she placed top 5 in the spokesmodel competition, placed again at nationals. So we're talking about a seasoned competitor here. I'm telling you, I will guarantee to you that type of contestant does not need a pageant to be rigged for her. No, she doesn't. My phone is dying. There we go. She doesn't need a pageant to be rigged for her, and there's no benefit for David and Maureen for rigging a pageant in her favor, especially when people are already looking for those things and paying attention to those things because she's a former. Like, you already know the eye is on you. So anyways, granted, I'm telling you, that's my current knowledge right now. That's what I know of right now. That's kind of my opinion on all of that at the moment. I mean, could I be proven wrong? Sure, I don't know. Maybe there is more information. You know, crazy things happen, okay? But I'm just saying, from my experience with everyone, there's no incentive to rig, and there's no reason to, because Shayla can win on her own merit. Like, just go watch her performances. Watch her performances and watch just take a look at the huge titles that she's already won. How would that help anybody? Plus, now with the age limit lifted, what's the rush for, like, let's say, okay, like somebody wanted to rig something, what would actually be the point of getting her to win now versus later? She can win at any point. She will inevitably win. And you're not talking about a state pageant with 100 girls, 50 girls, 70 girls. You're talking about a smaller state. There's no reason. Doesn't make any sense. What am I looking for, guys? Oh, concealer. That's right. Yes, this is the first time a Miss USA has resigned. Fortunately and unfortunately. I mean, good thing that there hasn't been more, right? Like, that speaks to the organization, but unfortunately it happened, and it shouldn't have to happen. Title holders should not have to resign for mental health reasons that they didn't have before they became title holders. Terrible. Let's see. How do judges feel about tattoos? Depends on the judge, depends on the organization, depends on the age division. So a lot of judges, frankly, don't even care anymore. Not to say I haven't heard some make those comments. Typically, they're going to make comments if they're a little bit older and come from a more conservative background. Those are the judges that tend to, not love a tattoo. But some judges, surprisingly enough, like, don't mind it and really love the idea of eventually having a title holder covered in tattoos. Believe it or not, I have heard that feedback from judges that they can't wait for the day when that happens. So kind of interesting. It's everybody's very personal opinion. Let's see, sorry, I'm just over here. This is always a hard part for me to film because I gotta pay full attention as this is drying. Let's see here. Any news on the runner-up? I mean, any news on the runner-up is highly rumored. I haven't, I'm hearing stuff, but unless I see something from Savannah saying that she would take the title, then I'm gonna assume everything is just rumor at that point. I need to see something official. So, I mean, the word on the street is that no, she's not taking the title. Also, she already crowned her successor. And frankly, who in the world really wants this title right now with the current news? I'm telling you, if somebody takes this title, you're just kind of telling the world you're not a girl's girl. Whether or not that's true, whatever. I know everybody has their reasons for doing everything, and that's fine. But, pageant fans, pageant audiences can be tough. And, a lot of people are coming out in the support of Noelia. As they should, honestly, as they should. And, which means if somebody from the class of 2023 takes this title, takes it over for those 2 months, I mean, imagine what the public, how they're gonna react. It's like, girl, whoever you are, like, are you ready for that firestorm? Like, you ready to take that heat? You may think you are. A lot of times I'm telling you, you may think you are. I remember the day after I won Miss Montana USA. Of course, I had a lot of really kind messages from really nice people, very supportive. And then I started getting the negative comments and reading those. And because I didn't have a huge following before Montana, I never even considered, I know it sounds a little naive, but because Montana's a small state, I never considered a backlash of really negative comments. And I'll be completely honest. Makes me kind of emotional to think about it. I had this moment where I was so excited and I got to live this really, really special and unique dream. And I drove back home, and I was living with family, and I was by myself. My aunt was at work, and totally alone. I had one person that was able to see me, one family member. My aunt, who's not from Montana, came to see me, and my aunt in Montana, couldn't go to the pageant. So I just remember being at home alone, sitting there in my room with, stuff scattered everywhere and just like in a mess. And I got really sick after the pageant because my body, it's very common, my body just kind of collapsed. And I started reading these negative comments, and I thought, oh no, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I planned for. And I will forever lose my anonymity if I'm forever associated with an organization like this. Like, people are gonna know me in some way, shape, or form, and I had to really think, am I okay with that? I went over like all these scenarios in my head, and I was like, I told myself, well, it's not too late to crown my first runner up. And I knew that it would be like something that would make kind of news and pageantry, and maybe something people wouldn't understand, especially because I created the Road to Miss Montana USA. People would be like, what are you doing? Like, you worked so hard for this. Why would you give this up? And I had to have this like real moment with myself, and I'm like, am I going to be okay with people saying these things about me all the time? And also, what if I were to be Miss USA and it would get worse? Can I take that? And the reason I ended up not calling my directors to say, hey, I changed my mind, you need to crown the first runner up, was because I thought about my whole journey, and I was like, do I believe in my heart that I could do like that I'm more prepared essentially to make the most of this title this year than my first runner up? Do I feel that I just, have more resources, more experience that would help me to better represent the state? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I think so. I was like, I know it's really hard to be objective and not biased, but I've had a lot of experience where I've been criticized very publicly, I would say more in the theater and the music world. And I've just taken a lot of public criticisms there that are rough. And so I've learned I've gotten a pretty good handle on accepting criticisms in a way where I can receive them so that I can correct myself or that I can improve. And so I was like, yeah, I think I can do this year. I feel like I can do a great job with this title, and I can do a lot with it. And I was like, well, then that's the only answer I need. I'll keep the title and I'll go forward. But I mean, if you think about that, that's crazy. Like, just a few negative comments had me second guessing everything. Just a couple. And questioning, should I even do this? Should I give up this title? It's not too late. Because in my head, I was like, look, I'm crowned early in the season. Yes, it will make news, but by the time other favorites get crowned, people are going to forget about me by the time Miss USA comes around. That was my mindset. I was like, they'll forget it. It won't be a big deal, and I'll just sink away. I literally thought about that. I was like, I'm just going to, slip away into the abyss. No one's going to remember me, and it'll all be fine. And so I don't know. I really thought of that. So I can understand how, gosh, considering what Noelia has been experiencing, how she's at that point. She's like, you know what? This isn't worth it anymore. And I can respect that. I get it, girl. Like, obviously I'm not the same situation, but like the fact that I was kind of thinking about doing the same thing for much less. It's kind of wild, right? And I was actually just having that conversation with one of my clients because she was very excited to get her national title, and she was thrilled. And then she goes, oh my gosh, people are so mean, and I just wasn't prepared for that. And that's something I talk about with a lot of my clients, and give them tips and tools and advice, and try to help them navigate all of the people who try to bring you down. What's crazy is it's like sometimes it's other contestants, sometimes it's fan pages, and what's sad is sometimes it's family. That's a real tough one. Breaks my heart. But all we can do is our best, and it really does take a lot to stand up. And Noelia, if you think about it, she's not just standing up for herself and her story. She's standing up for everybody else who's experienced abusive behavior, and who hasn't been able to share their story. It's really important. Let me see. Yeah, I see that too, and I don't think it's just in the fan pages. Talking about Cynthia. Osmel released a statement about it. So yeah. would the successor be viewed as a traitor or a sellout? There's a bigger picture. 100%. 100%. I think a lot of, if somebody steps up to succeed Noelia, I think a lot of people are going to have a very negative view, unfortunately. I mean, that's going to be, I think it's going to be very damaging to that whoever would decide to step up. Because Noelia is, obviously exiting the organization because of issues within the organization, right? And if you step in and now you want to rep that same organization, it's kind of like being anti-woman, right? Because it's almost like condoning what's going on behind the scenes, by saying, oh, well, sorry, sucks for Noelia, like, now it's my time, now it's my turn. Like, imagine that being your legacy now. Imagine you stepping up and filling her shoes when she's trying to tell everybody, without telling them, what's been going on behind the scenes, because she can't speak out, and no one can because of the NDAs, which apparently are very ironclad, unfortunately. So, I mean, I wouldn't. My advice, ladies, don't step up. Don't take, if you get offered that title, don't take that title. It is not going to be worth it. That would be rough. That would be really, really rough. I think you're going to burn a lot of bridges. That would be, I could never. I can't even imagine being in that position and taking that position. Yes, she did get her quote-unquote Miami apartment. Remember, it was supposed to be an LA one, and then it turned into Miami. It's technically not in Miami, but sounds good for marketing, doesn't it? Doesn't it? But even if it's not technically true. Let's see. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm trying to keep up with stuff. I'm sorry. And I need to get ready super fast. I gotta get this. I gotta stop dilly-dallying. Oh my goodness. If you want to get the episode before I pass out from exhaustion, then okay. And my phone's gonna die, friends. It's just been on the edge, the brink, because of all the calls I've been getting, all the messages. I cannot give up. But I'm excited. Pretty excited because I'm about to spill some tea in these episodes that now I can share because it's a first-hand experience. Yay. Very excited. Let's see. Also, yeah, I feel what you're saying. I mean, I love going to Miss USA. I love going to Miss Universe. I'm very on the fence about going this year. Everybody's asking. I'm very on the fence because it's just very hard for me to spend the money to go there and to give an organization money when there's things that I just disagree with. So I'm very, very torn. But the fact is that, I go to these pageants, I go to these events because of the young women. Like the young women who need people to speak up for them when they can't because of things like these NDAs. We have to have these conversations. We have to draw attention to it. I am very excited about all of the national news regarding Noelia's resignation. We need to get more eyes on all of this. We need to have a lot of conversations, a lot of important ones. And that's why I've been continuing to make these episodes, because this is stuff that I don't want people to just blow over. All the episodes that I've created about what in the world is happening in the organization for the past few months, I've been doing it because I know more is happening behind the scenes, and I don't want people to forget, and I don't even want to forget for myself all of the important details. There's so many intricate parts of what's been happening that even for my own benefit, I create these episodes so we can go back and we can review, and so that there is essentially kind of like documentation, records of things that I just don't want people to forget, like stuff that disappears, things like Instagram stories, things like posts that are archived or comments that are archived. We need to hold people accountable. We can't forget these things are happening, because if we forget, it's going to continue to happen to the next title holder and the next title holder, and none of it's okay. So I've been making these episodes because I knew more things were coming. I knew more things are happening, and I want to be able to show everybody and say, I've been talking about this for months, and a lot of people have ignored it. And I've been shouting at the top of my lungs. That's how it feels. Trying to say, hey guys, look over here. Here's a million red flags. We need to discuss it. We need to talk about it. Yeah. All right, we're almost ready. We are almost ready to film, friends. We are so close. We're so close to getting there. Oh gosh. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right, that's decent. And then my favorite, more blush. This is my favorite. Honestly, yeah, I have once. What I hate is that when things go so terribly, the channel does well. I hate that. Hate that for us, guys. Hate that for all of us in the pageant community. Not a fan of that. Not a fan at all. You know what I would love to create episodes about? Miss USA just like becoming the most successful woman in America, or Miss America becoming the most successful, whatever. Any women in pageantry. I don't care what system. I would love to be able to be like, oh my gosh, look at Miss USA at the Met Gala. Great. That would be an episode I would love to do. And yet, everybody seems dead set on stopping those episodes, right? All you gotta do is stop making silly decisions. It's nonsense. There's so much nonsense happening. And honestly, sometimes it's so much for me that I just laugh at a lot of it. And like sometimes I get certain messages and I'm like, yeah, they would say that, or they would do that. You know why? I have way too many childhood traumas, to be honest. And me and my cousin, we have this little joke. We always just say, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And it's because sometimes things are just so bad, you need that comedic relief, and you gotta just be like, wow, how crazy is this, right? How crazy is it? And it's unfortunate, but sometimes that's the way I get through things in life. I just kind of laugh because I'm like, this is absurd. It's some things are kind of like, you can't believe people and the audacity, right? Audacity. And you kind of got to look at it and laugh and be like, it's kind of funny that you would do these silly things. These things that are going to backfire. Things always come out. The truth comes out. So when I see people doing things, I'm like, you're such a silly goose. What a silly goose you are. Oh, that's funny. Right? I look and I laugh. The absurdities. Right? Yeah, I mean, because frankly, if I don't laugh, I will cry. I mean, it's truly sad. It's really, really sad. What's happening? Okay. mean, like, the excitement has me hot. I'm just sweaty over here. Yeah, laugh if you can't cry, right? But like I said, some of the stuff that goes on in pageantry, it's literally so absurd. It's like, how are, like, a lot of people sometimes in leadership, they'll make all of these decisions and you look at it and I'm like, okay, maybe that's what works for you in the short term, but you keep going and you're not going to get away with all this stuff forever. So it doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm kind of like, wow. Wow. You're a silly goose. Bam. Okay. All right, I gotta do something with my hair. I need to do something, and then we're gonna be recording. So stay tuned, friends. Love you, and have a great night or a great morning. I don't